Naguulat mula sa shore na kasing pretty ko.
Bringing you the latest and greatest.
And diving deep into the cool waters
of BLs and GLs.
And every kind of love there is.
We are the Shippers.
Sail with us as we watch our favorite queer love stories.
And update you about the latest every week.
Kaya tara, sakay na as we sail the open seas.
With new episodes Mondays and Wednesdays on all major podcast streaming platforms.
Sakay na you. Let's go.
If you like this episode, please rate the podcast 5 stars 6 and take your dome. This podcast is a member of Bun Collective.
Welcome to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast. And this is the MTV Show Podcast, a wrestling podcast. It's Friday, you know what that means. Welcome to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast. And this is the MTV Show Podcast, a wrestling podcast. Fuck. So, yun na nga. Magandang umaga, tanghali, gabi sa inyong lahat. Syempre, salamat sa walang sawang pakikinig dito sa show. Kahit katarantaduan lang yun, narinig nyo dito every single Friday night or morning, afternoon, evening. Kahit ano pa yung content nitong podcast. I want to say thank you for everyone who is listening on this episode, basically. And of course, on this podcast. Kasi kung wala kayo, wala rin ako. Di rin tayo makapaggawa ng gantong content. Di rin tayo makapag-podcast every week. And for you guys na syempre sumusuporta, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And let's do the introduction, of course. Wait lang, first minutes. Sorry about that. Okay. So for this week's episode of the podcast, obviously we're going to have the turns week because there's a lot of turns that happened na nangyari on this week's episode of the podcast. There's a lot of turns, face turn, heel turn, and even an unnecessary turn by, Logan Paul. Mamaya pag-usapan natin yan on this week's episode of the podcast. Plus, where we are going to do our official preview for this year's G1 Climax. So, since G1 Climax will happen starting this Saturday, of course, it's a 4-block tournament. And mas maganda siya panoorin kasi hindi siya per block. No? Ay, mga sa akin lang. Pero, I like this format better kumpara sa ibang blocks nitong mga nakaraang taon o buwan. Pero I like this format ng G1. I wish sana sanayin nyo na yung sarili nyo na ganito yung format ng G1. Kasi mas maganda siya panoorin sa tingin ko. Na kaso nga lang, ang problema nga lang daily yung parang daily ba yung schedule? I'm not sure about the scheduling here. Pero, figure out ko siya in the next few days. No? Pero, hindi tayo magagawa ng weekly review dito kasi, Friday naman tayo naglalabas. Once a week nga lang tayo nagpa-podcast. So, malamang sa malamang. Yung ibang, sa day 4 na tayo, tapos yung podcast nasa day 1 pa din. Ang weird. Hindi tayo gagawa ng ganun ngayon. Nasamid lang ako. It's normal. It's normal. And, of course, your basic wrestling content here on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the rest of the podcast platforms. Obviously, we're going to do things complicated. As usual naman, wala namang bago dito. Walang bago dito, Diyos ko. If you're listening on this podcast, alam mo na yung story dito, alam mo na yung sistema dito na pinapakomplikado natin yung mga ito. So, let's start with the turn. So, let's go to SmackDown first. So, you got a Lacey Evans heel turn. So, ewan ko bakit sinabi ko siyang heel turn. Kasi Lacey Evans, sobrang bare niya makakuha ng cheers from the crowd on last week's episode of SmackDown. And she is asking for respect. Why? Because you worked as a Marine? Yun lang ba yung mabantot na reason why you ask for respect? Then, you did the Kurt Angle here. Nag-Kurt Angle ka dito. Basically, nag-walk-in ka dito. Walk-in, labas. Then, you attack Aliyah with the woman's right. And that's pretty much it. That's the turn. So, nag-promo siya, of course, prior to that. Pero, ito lang simple kong thoughts about that. It's kinda dumb to turn, pero it's kinda makes sense. Kasi, wala na nga nag-cheer kay Lacey. Sobrang zero talaga yung crowd niya. Since yung nag-return siya as a babyface, kinda dumb na ginawa nila ito. Tapos, now, we are getting the stupid Lacey run. And now, we're getting this stuff. Na, parang bumabalik na lang siya sa dati niyang character with this new gimmick. And it's dumb. And, kalahin nyo, 5 minutes of recording, I'm saying a lot of bullshit here. Okay, so it's dumb. Basically, it's dumb. Wala akong ibang masabi. I'm kinda stricting my shit here. Pero, it's dumb. It's very obvious dumb shit. Very dumb decision by E. And it's kind of dumb to see if ganun yung gagawin nila. Okay. So, SmackDown pa din. So, total nandito na lang tayo sa subject. Let's do the podcast review of SmackDown. So, we got New Day, expected, beating up by the vicious Viking Raiders. And their tickets, hindi pa na na-redeem yung tickets, but they got ass whoop. Deserve. Deserve. Yun lang masasabi ko. Deserve. Wala na akong ibang sabihin kasi it's a waste of time. And let's go. So, Corbin being the most interesting stuff of this week's SmackDown. Hindi ko akalain sabihin ko to sa buong buhay ko. But this gimmick of Happy Corbin is kinda interesting on Dispute versus Pat McAfee. Hindi ko akalain na sasabihin ko to in my entire life since I started this podcast. Since I started this shit, hindi ko akalain na sasabihin ko tong putang inan to. Na Corbin is impressive on his act so far versus Pat McAfee. And it's funny to you guys na sobrang I criticized Corbin a lot. No? I criticized him on this show, because of his sad boy thing. But it's kind of strange now na i-change roles now. It's kind of weird at the same time stuff. Okay lang. Yun lang. Wala naman akong ibang comments about this shit on Pat McAfee. It's working naman. Putting Pat McAfee over is a wise decision naman kahit paano. He's a great heel. I hope makuha din ni Corbin yung roses niya or flowers niya anytime soon or appreciation on his run sa WWE. Now, Then, let's continue to Ganta. So, Ganta, supposedly dapat kakalabanin niya si Shinsuke. Open challenge. Pero instead, we get is low-key Ludwig Kaiser na he lost obviously. So, Gunta chopped him 3 fucking times and holy shit. Kahit isa siguro suko ako dyan eh. Ayun, that's a punishment. Punishment. It's more on a punishment kasi Gunta is a big threat. So, if there's a big threat, syempre, may weak links. So, that's basically the role of Ludwig Kaiser. Yeah. Then, let's talk about the maximum male models. Max Dupree, Masay, and Mansua. And, damn it. Sorry na. Okay, so we got the maximum male models segment, of course. I don't know, so far, nagtitilitate na yung aking yung aking katawan nagtitilitate na. as expected, tagay na. Pero, sasabihin ko sa inyo, I'm impressed on their packages so far. Yung mga package nila na pinapakita nila on TV and yung pag-put over ni Pat McAfee on them, so fucking good. Then, ayan. So, I love the segment so far. Ito namang tennis collection. I must say, I'm impressed here. Sobrang na-impress ako. Lumabas yung ibang side ni Mansua. At saka ni Masay. Or ni Mace, at saka ni Manzur, I say, lumabas yung kakaibang side ng dalawa since the beginning pa lang. And I must say na I'm impressed doon sa other side nila. Sa tingin ko, it's not a forced thing. Parang it looks like a genuine stuff na nakikita natin yung other side ni Masay tsaka ni Mansua. And it's impressive. Plus Max Dupree na passionate about his role right now. So I love it. Okay, so I talked about Lacey Evans here. So let's talk about the main event of this week's SmackDown. So we got Drew McIntyre. Supposedly, dapat kakalabanin niya si Sheamus. And with the winner will face the champion at Clash at the Castle for the undisputed title. And never natin nakuha yung belt. Akalain nyo, 9:50 Eastern Time. Wala pa tayo sa main event. There's still commercials. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Sheamus, nagpalusot na lang siya na chills or COVID, whatever. Then, so, si Butch na yung replacement. So, we never got the matchup. And my tweets from that week's episode of SmackDown speaks for itself. It's dumb. Kung gusto nyo mag-aliw-aliw, gusto nyo maging tanga, panoorin nyo yung SmackDown na yan. Seryoso. And di ka nagkamali. Nagbuka kang tanga. Seryoso. Yan David, lang masasabi ko. So basically, sinamarize ko lang yung SmackDown. If you want to watch SmackDown, I don't give a fuck about you. Pero yung third week natin, magtutuloy-tuloy yan habang tumatakbo yung show. So let's continue with Monday Night Raw. So there's 2 things that I took note. Number 1 is Balor versus Rey. So it's impressive. It's an impressive matchup. I'm impressed with both of them. I don't know, but I'm glad to see this match on TV. Not on pay-per-view, premium live events. I'm glad to see this match took place lang on a Raw TV matchup. Hindi ako ganun nag-expect na, okay, sige na premium live event since may development din. And WWE announced then on this week's episode of Raw na Rey Mysterio will be, magkakaroon siya ng anniversary episode of his debut on the 25th of July episode of Raw. So basically, this is from MSG. It's gonna be big for sure kasi na-advertise na ito ng matindi. Ewan ko nga, parang ini-endorse pa nila to rather than their SummerSlam shit. It's kinda weird for me. Okay, so another thing from this week's SmackDown is the main event thing. So we got Seth Rollins in Theory versus Lashley and Riddle. Plus, there's one character that we are going to talk about. Hindi kasama na sa binanggit ko. It's Dolph Ziggler. So Dolph Ziggler attacked Riddle after of the match with a super kick. So that's a part of our Turns Week. Turns Week continues with this. And he turned babyface. Ano ba masasabi ko? I want to simplify things. Number one, syempre, pag sinabing Dolph Ziggler, you know the unpredictability of this man as a wrestler. He can wrestle without or within the time. And bibigyan ka niya ng magandang laban. And Theory is a big example of that. So that's why they put Dolph on Theory. Number 2, problema to. Bakit sa kasagsagan pa ng Dolph, ng Lashley Theory, I wish ito na lang yung match for SummerSlam and Lashley can have other opponents. There's a lot of talent sa Raw. And I wish yun na lang ang pinalaban kay Lashley. Then we can have Dolph Theory for SummerSlam. Or maybe the Yuki event, Clash of the Castle. Why? I know, pwede to actually seed na to for SummerSlam. And mas okay pa yung build na to kaysa doon sa Lashley Theory na nagagawin at SummerSlam. I don't know what's wrong with this WWE bullshit booking. I don't know what's wrong with this bullshit anymore. Okay, so that's my take on the match. The match naman, it's okay. Basically, a weekly main event. The streak for the women's main event is over. But I must say, this week's Raw is okay. There's a lot of big names on this week's episode, but it doesn't mean. But the quality of wrestling from last week is better than this week. So that's why I didn't mention a lot of segments from this week's Raw. We're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about NXT and of course AEW. Meron pa tayong nandun, yung turns week natin. Mag-continue doon. But first, let me remind you of Shopee. So syempre, Shopee Payday Sale ngayon, July 15. And if you want to support the podcast on Shopee, sana gamitin yung link ko. That's podlink.co/bhx. Again, that's podlink.co/bhx. It's gonna be a big help for me, and I hope y'all can use my link on the description. Okay, yung podlink.co/bhx. Malaking tulong yan. There's a sale today or any other day. Abangan nyo na lang. Araw-araw naman sale dyan. And malapit na rin yung 8-8. So if you want to support the podcast, you can use my link on the description below or podlink.co/bhx. We're going to take our first commercial break and let's check our bunkmates here on Bunk Collective.
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
I can't. I'm sick.
Wait, yung tataa.
Boo, you whore. Di-lockdown pa rin.
Huh? 2021 na.
So, anong gagawin natin?
Eh di, magstay na lang sa house at makinig sa Astrology, the podcast. With new episodes every Tuesday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.
Hey everyone, my name is Greg.
I'm McCoy.
And I'm D. We're from
Chat. We're three Filipino-American gay guys discussing topics about culture, LGBTQ identity, politics, even love.
Or the lack thereof.
Here we go again.
Okay. We also cover family dramas and everything your tita baby and uncle boy don't want to talk about.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Okay, so we're back on the podcast. So, again, plug muna tayo ng ating mga stuff. So, if you want to support our network, Bunk Collective, on social media, I hope you all can follow us on social media at The Bunk PH. Visit our website at thebunkph.com. And don't forget to join our Discord community. Our Discord community will be posted on the description then as well of this episode. Or you can join DSC. I'm not sure. Whatever. Post na lang natin yung description. Sorry talaga. Especially sa producer ko. I don't know what's the length. Hindi ko pa rin tanda. Like, active ako sa Discord. Pero hindi ko tanda yung link. It's kinda ironic. Okay, let's continue with our NXT and AEW thoughts. So let's start with the important ones. Wait lang, I can't read. So there's Giovanni Vinci versus Apollo Crews for this week's episode of NXT. Hell, man, I'm glad to see this match on NXT TV. The former Fabian Aichner versus Apollo Crews. I'm impressed on the gimmick improvement of Giovanni Vinci here. Medyo nag-improve na sa akin yung gimmick niya. Medyo nag-grow na rin sa akin. So, wala akong ganong big problems about this thing. And it's impressive. It's impressive to see this guy is running his ass solo. Pero it hits different pa din pag naalala ko talaga yung run niya with Imperium. Yun. It's kinda sad. Plus, Apollo Crews, syempre, Apollo Crews, one of the most unappreciated guys in the main roster. Being here in NXT, put over yung guys one by one. And I love it. That is the guy who can put his ass just to put the talents over. So that's why I love this guy. I love Apollo Crews. He is one of the guys that I should look forward o yung mga tao dyan. Dapat mag-focus kayo kay Crews. Definitely the best guy in NXT right now. Then, let's talk about next match. Roxanne Perez got attacked during the first minutes of NXT. So we're going to talk about more on our main event spot. No. Then, so we got the... Ano ba? So, si Axiom. Nag-reveal na siya si Axiom. Former A-Kid. Ewan ko, pero hindi ako impressed on his mask gimmick. Para siyang si Hentei Kamen. Parang si Hentei Kamen. Hindi natin gagawin bastos. Parang, it kinda reminds me of a robot character from Japan. Hindi, nasa dulo siya ng utak ko eh. Parang siya, basta ganun, hindi siya Hentei Kamen, for fuck's sake. Para siyang Hentei Kamen, pero hindi. Hindi ko pa rin maisip. Figure out niya nga sa akin, basta Japan yun eh. Fuck! Nalala ko na talaga yung Hentei Kamen. Guys, take note, Hentei Kamen is is vulgar. Medyo may pagka-vulgar yung Hentei Kamen. Umayos kayo, please. Okay, so let's continue with Axiom. Axiom is kinda not growing on me. But let's see on the next few days, maybe, kung ano yung magiging impression ko on this gimmick. Probably bibigay pa ako ng updates on that. So, yeah. Let's go to the main event. So, NXT Women's Championship. It's Roxanne Perez challenging Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's Championship. I love this match. Alone. Without the heel turn, without everything happened during the last 3 minutes of the match, I love it. There's the catch. The turn is kind of unexpected since Cora Jade and Roxanne just won the titles last week. And the turn is on the same week. Roxanne will challenge Mandy for the NXT Women's Championship. The only thing that I noticed here is number one, why now? Bakit nga ba? To be honest, andun na yan sa part na Cora is jealous of Roxanne na I should be the woman who's challenging Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's Championship. That's the mindset here. And nagte-theory na agad ako na I think Cora attacked Roxanne from behind on the parking lot na pinapiyawan ko kanina. Pero I'm sure as hell Cora Jade is the attacker for Cora. Sigurado ako dyan, putek. Para naman tayo naghuhula ng ano dito. Para tayong naghuhula ng riddle na mas madali pa sa sinasagutan ng grade 1 eh. Okay. So, Cora Jade attacked Roxanne with the woman's title after she hit the power bomb on the floor. Ba tawag doon? Spin o yung cheetah power bomb, whatever. Ba tawag doon? Yung ano? Tawag sa power bomb na yun. I'm not sure about that power bomb. Sabihin nyo nga sa akin, I'm not sure about the power bomb. I think that's the cheetah power bomb ba? Or sunset leaf. Okay, sunset power bomb. Yun pala yun, okay. So, that's a sunset power bomb. And then, ayan, she defeated Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. It's impressive. Mandy Rose. Thanks to Cora Jade. And afterwards, here's the funny part. So, Cora Jade attacked Roxanne with the skateboard na hindi mo pa iyakampas, wasak na agad. I don't know it's intentional. I don't know if it's sadya o sinadya. But it's funny and it ruins the part of the attack by Cora Jade. Nasira yun. Sa halip na matatawa na ako. But the only thing that I should know or you guys should know is magkakasundo to si Cora at si Roxanne. They're only 21 and sa tingin ko may future tong dalawa to as long as Cora improves her wrestling though. And I wish na magkasundo sila dito sa laban and they should. Maraming feuds na maganda yung naging outcome, maganda yung matchups like Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Ciampa, Gargano, then KO, Owens, tsaka Sami Zayn. Tapos yung a lot sa women's feud like Paige and Natty. Tapos yung Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, Sasha, Shayna, Rhea, ano ba na feuds? Io, Candice LeRae. There's a lot of feuds in my fucking mind. And I'm still hoping na this personal feud between Roxanne and Cora is going to turn like that. It's gonna be good for sure. Pero sana mag-improve pa si Cora. Okay, let's go to Dynamite now. So it's a small review. So since we're going to talk about New Japan is our main thing here. So it's gonna be quick. Okay, so first, let's talk about the Dynamite thing. Wardlow versus Orange Cassidy. In my opinion, it's impressive. The match is impressive. I hope y'all can appreciate Orange Cassidy. Now, as a wrestler, Orange Cassidy is so fucking good as a wrestler talaga. Hanga ako dito eh. Sobrang, ewan ko, parang nilalaro niya lang si Wardlow on the way na sobrang respectful niya pa din. And I love it. Yun lang ang bubantot kong reaction about that. I love the match. Then, so John Moxley versus Konosuke Takeshita. The match is so fucking brutal. Not the best match of Takeshita, but definitely it gives me the vibes of last Friday's Moxley Kingston match. Moxley Kingston tuloy. Kingston, then Takeshita match. Definitely one of the biggest bangers of the Rampage history. I love the match. And fuck to, I forgot. Fuck to all people who body shame Eddie Kingston, by the way. The match is so fucking good. Both of them. Back-to-back bangers by Takeshita. I hope Takeshita can get the title shot soon. And that's a requirement actually for joining the Blackpool Combat Club. I would love to see him in the combat as well. Actually. Okay. So, another thing on the show. So, ano pa ba? Putang, naduduling ako boy. So, ito na nga. So, Castagnoli, tsaka si Jake Hager, lagi na ako si nakakainis I love, in my opinion, it's different nung dito na nila ginawa. No? I know there's a lot of history between those two, kay Claudio, tsaka kay Jake Hager as Cesaro and Jack Swagger. It's different here. They did a really good job on this match and it's so fucking impressive. Okay. Then, so final thing about this week's Dynamite is so we got the trios dance for the AEW tag team title. So Young Bucks, the champs, then Team Taz and Swerve in Our Glory in the main event of this week's Dynamite Fighter Fest Night 1. So, in my opinion, it's kinda unexpected. Akala ko mag-i-split o magta-turn dito isa sa dalawa. But no, we got the titles. I hope hindi ma-copy-paste dito yung nangyari kahapon sa NXT or yung nangyari sa NXT for fuck's sake. I hope hindi yun mangyari. I hope magkasundo sila Swerve tsaka si Keith Lee in the near future. I know parang we beef something sila. Sa story lang naman, syempre. Pero I hope na it's gonna be a big run. Sana hindi agad ma-drop sa FTR kasi FTR lang naman yung suspect guys na pwede pag-dropan nito. So yeah, it's a really good matchup. Kinda unexpected. Kala ko Team Taz na nga yung manalo dito. But it's kind of sad. At the same time, I'm happy to Team Swerve at this Swerve in his glory. Swerve in our glory. Like, Swerve is our glory. Okay. So, it's impressive. Impressive win. Kinda sad for Team Taz. And fuck Young Bucks. Yun lang. Basically, that's it for our wrestling review. So, in our next commercial break, we are going to talk about the next stuff that we're going to talk about is the G1 Climax 32. So, mangyayari na yung G1 this Saturday. So, stay tuned lang kayo for my possible predictions on this week's episode of the podcast. But for now, let's check our bunkmates here on Bunk Collective.
Picture this. Two guys talking about true crime,
weird mysteries,
horror stories.
But the conversation is light.
Mostly funny.
And sometimes naughty.
This is Scriptsalog,
a Spotify exclusive.
I'm Gideon.
And I'm Glenn. And we're serving huge portions of horror and true crime twice a week.
We'll make sure your cravings are satisfied.
And you'll be begging for more.
Char.
Check us out.
This is Scriptsalog, available exclusively on Spotify.
Been wanting to learn about different careers? Or just need that nudge to pursue your passion projects? Here at Project Offbeat Careers Podcast, we talk to guests with unique careers, outside the usual corporate shtick. Listen to historians, gamers, teachers, and cosplayers. See how they've succeeded and how you can apply their learnings to your workplace. Catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And get ready to take the off-beaten path with us.
Okay, welcome back to the show again. So, Lazada naman tayo. So, Lazada, syempre, there's a lot of sales din sa Lazada. So, if you want to support the podcast on Lazada, you can use my link on the description below, kaya podlink.co/6gs. Again, that's podlink.co/6gs. It's gonna be a big long run for the podcast. Sana, I hope you all can support the pod on your shopping on Lazada. So, yun. Let's go to G1. So, G1 Climax will happen starting this Saturday until August. So, I'm glad na walang sagabal aside dito. So, it's gonna be 7 per blocks, no? 7 blocks. 7 per block. So, basically, there's 4 blocks, A, B, C, and D. Then the finals will be determined by the top 1 rankings. So, syempre may rankings yan. Then, yung top 1 from each blocks will face each other in a one-on-one match, obviously. So, A versus B, then C versus D. So, in case you missed the list of the names for this year's G1, so I'm going to say the names for you guys. So, Kazuchika Okada for Block A, Toru Yano, syempre, hindi pwede mawala Tom Lawler, really impressive guy, Jonah, Jeff Cobb, Lance Archer representing AEW, and Bad Luck Fale representing House of Horrors. Okay, B Block. So, Tomohiro Ishii. So, Tama Tonga, Sanada, Taichi, Great Okan, the champion J.U. White, and Chase Owens. C Block, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, Tetsuya Naito, Saxi Bridge Jr., Aaron Henare, Kenta, and Evil. D Block, Yoshihashi. Okay, Yoshihashi. Natatawa talaga ako dito, puta. David Finlay, Shingo Takagi, Will Ospreay, the current US champion. Juice Robinson, El Fantasmo, and nagkamali ako sulat. Yujiro Takahashi. Okay, so ito, pag-usapan muna natin yung possible top 2 per blocks, no? So, A block, obviously, I would love to see Okada. Pero I'm going to put honorable muna. To be fair. So, Jonah, may chance. Si Tom Lawler, papalag din. Archer, medyo. Si Bad Luck, medyo din. Yano, no chance in hell. Ayun, so, parang Okada and Jeff Cobb. Top 2 ko. B block, if you're going to ask me, it's obviously Jay White. And I would love to see, kung sino yung, kung tatanungin niyo kung top 2 ko, it should be Sanada and Jay White. Pwede rin si Tama Tonga actually, pero mukhang malabo pa sa mata ko. Pero, I would love to see Jay White or Sanada on the B block. No? C block. So, hindi nito Tanahashi eh. Medyo, ang nakikita ko dito for now, it's Naito. Pwede rin si Evil. Or pwede rin, malabo si Tama eh. Pwede sana Tama kung nasa prime pa, pero hindi. So, pwede Naito, CSJ, or Evil. Pero safe choice ko dito for now is Naito. O kaya CSJ. That's why Naito. Then, D block. It's kinda hard. Pero madali lang to. Basic lang to. It's either Ospreay or Takagi. in the D block. No? So, yung finalist ko, syempre, A block, Okada, B block, anyone but Jay White. At this point, kasi pag nananalo si Jay White, nababati ko eh. C block, it's gonna be Naito. D block, Will Ospreay. Pwede rin Will Ospreay. Definitely. I would love to see Ospreay Naito again, or kung di pa nangyari, whatever. I would love to see those two fight talaga. No? So, let me know your predictions for this year's G1. Siyempre, hindi natin bibigyan ng updates yun every week. Siguro, post na tayo on our podcast platforms about the G1 Climax. So, ipapanood yun, siyempre, in New Japan World. If you have a New Japan account on New Japan World, please support New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. So, syempre, support, no? And then, of course, our picks of the week. So, our superstar of the week is Wardlow. The woman of the week is Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. Then, the match of the week is Konosuke Takeshita versus Eddie Kingston from this week's Rampage. So, yun lang. Basically, our podcast. So, ano pa ba? Siguro next week. Dapat this week kasi yun. Pero next week na siguro, we're going to continue our attention to detail series. Pag-usapan natin yung, tawag dito, yung continuity noong Sasha na yung story. Plus, we're going to talk about the tag titles again. The women's tag team titles, anatomy again. It's kinda forgettable na, pero we need to resurface the stuff again para lang mas maramdaman niyo kung ano yung nangyayari sa WWE right now, whatever it is. Then, so again, if you want to support the podcast, I hope you all can follow us on social media at the MT Show Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and on TikTok. And of course, please support Bunk Collective on social media at The Bunk PH. Visit our website at thebunkph.com. So I hope y'all as well, you guys are supporting Manila Wrestling. So if you're looking for our own wrestling, please look for Manila Wrestling Federation. So lalo't malapit na yung Road to Fate on September 11. Please support Manila Wrestling Federation. You can subscribe on Gank/Manila Wrestling Fed or manilawrestling.com. And ayan. So speaking of Manila Wrestling Fed, before we go, so there will be a new MWF champion. So ayoko mo na mag-prediction. Pero ako personally kasi, kaso wala pa kasi si Kylie Season. Pero I would love to see Kylie Season winning the belt kahit medyo malabo kasi wala rin siya sa tapings. Pero I would love to see that guy becoming the champion. Pero that guy really deserves to be the MWF champion. Regardless of the outcome of this tournament, I would love to see him versus the champion down the line of the Manila Wrestling Fed sa Action Novela. Again, please support Manila Wrestling Federation and Action Novela on gankmanilawrestling.com. I hope you all are supporting that and our friends from Manila Wrestling Fed. And also, please follow me on social media at AG Penera on Twitter and Instagram. That's it for our episode for this week's podcast. Stay safe, stay wrestle. See you on the next episode of the THEMTGSHOW Podcast in cooperation with Bunk Collective.